how I'm still spending the apocalypse. Okay, so it's been about 3 weeks of my spare time?
Right.
My copious spare time.
Yes.
That I've been working on this. I'm coming down to the wire here. See how the rocks have up written on them?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so the ones that are short wind up getting floated into concrete. And I just realized today that instead of having to guess which ones they were, I could just write on them when I get to them.
That's awesome.
Okay, so once again, I'm doing that thing where I'm digging up and putting back and blah, 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 blah. Now, how does our fire ring work? Really good.
Really well.
Because we got to test it.
Yes, we did.
Maybe Lynn can even put a little...
I can put a little snippet of something in here with it.
The burning of it.
Yes.
Okay, so what happened since I last talked to you? Well, our daughter came from Colorado. My stepdaughter, Lynn's daughter, came from Colorado to visit. Okay, so she got here, last Tuesday?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so she got here, she was due to get here last Tuesday afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Monday night, we had an F1 tornado touchdown, less than a half mile that way.
That's right.
So we got all the wind velocity, 90 to 120 mile per hour winds.
Right, 1 mile short of an F2.
Well, yes, but we got all the wind off of that. So I had spent, because when you have company, what do? You spend all your time breaking your ass so that everything can look nice when they get here.
Right.
So I'd spent 2 days mowing, trimming, weed eating, blah, 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 this entire place. Got up Tuesday morning, everything was shattered. There was not a tree on this place that hadn't taken damage. The yard was covered in limbs and leaf debris. Our wisteria that I trained into a tree had blown over. I had to come along it back up. So I wanted my wife to do, while I was cleaning that up, because I went ape shit.
Yes, you did.
And I picked up, not the stuff in the pastures, which I picked up later, and if she puts on that bonfire, what you're gonna see is the smaller of the two bonfires from the debris from the storm, and I still have debris in the dog yard that I picked up out of the chicken yard and in the back pasture. Okay, so a lot of damage was done, but we were lucky. I still say lucky people don't have anything hit them. And I will tell you how I feel about that in a minute. But it moved the schoolhouse in the little town. It actually blew it and moved it off its foundation.
Yep.
We had to lift it back on its foundation. So I wanted my wife to get out here and film me while I was doing this, just because I wanted to title the piece, "This is Why We Can't Have Nice Things." Okay, because it was a wall-eyed mess. I don't want to tell you how big a bonfire that first one was, but if Lynn will pan up into the tree, that's about 25 foot above, and to the other side of this fire pit, you can see it scorched the leaves in the tree.
Yep.
That's how big the first bonfire was. So it was horrible. Everywhere you drove around, people had trees through their houses.
Some people still do.
Roads, some people still do right now. It's horrible. If you drive around the area,
8 days later,
everything's torn to shit.
9 days
okay?
later.
So I'm pretty sure that as of this last storm, I'm pushing being an atheist. And I'll tell you why. Because all of these nice people, their houses are damaged and destroyed and blah, 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 blah. Not a single house with one of those rebel flags flying got hit. And the asshole on this side of us, everybody else is covered with limbs and debris. He doesn't have a single piece of limb, no debris, but his 7 Trump flags are still flying. They didn't even blow one of them away. And I'm like, okay, God. I'm mad at you today because this is not right. But so this is what happens when you're working on a project, especially when you're working on it in your quote unquote spare
time on a farm.
Okay, on a farm. Is that every fucking thing happens, you have to drop everything, and then you start working on it. Okay, but then I had a friend of mine, well-meaning, and he was just kidding me. He was literally just kidding. But he said something negative about it. It's taken me 2 days to get off my ass and go back to work on it. Because now I'm like, yeah, it's a piece of shit. But I don't really feel that way, and yet my perception that I must constantly have applause or nothing I do is worth anything is a real problem that I'm not the only one that has it. If you're doing that, just stop right now. Stop it! Do what I say, not what I do! And hopefully the next time we put this on, this will be finished.
It's very close.
It's
It's less than a quarter.
I got maybe 6 more hours.
And this medallion is so cool right here that we just did.
We did that on Mother's Day, and it's our hands, our kids' hands, our grandson's hand. Rolly wasn't here, so we just put his letter in.
His letter.
Nick's wife, Paulette, wasn't here, so we just put a letter in for her because they weren't here, and Mother's hand's in it. So it's got all of our handprints in it. Why? Why the hell not? I'll do what I want.
I think it's awesome.
If people don't like it, they can kiss my rosy red ass.
There you go.
That's where I need to be, or I'm never going to finish this project, because at this point in time, I'm having a whole lot of trouble getting the negativity out of my head. So that's what happens with people. Let me tell you something about me. I will never look at your creative endeavor and say one fucking negative thing. You want to know why? Because of what it does to me, how it derails me, and because it's your creative endeavor. Art is what you think is art.
Yes.
What you create, that you want to create, it doesn't have to match anybody else's standards. Unless you're a complete neurotic like me, and then it absolutely does. Until next time, over and out.